The button!
Button, who's got the button?
You do.
I can't reach it. It's all the way over there. It's on the third monitor, which is on a
sad
stand.
that we weren't already buttoned.
Alas.
Because that means that it did not catch the
light show?
The million arms.
Well, now everyone's going to have to think about what we're talking about, and whatever their imagination comes up with might even be better than what we had. And what we had was pretty good.
The million arms incident.
And also how we all learned how to use light effects in Foundry for evil, not good. Oh, Foundry is now my favorite virtual tabletop that I have ever used because of this one trick.
Light effects.
Number 3 will annoy all of your players. Alright, hello, and welcome to Cause and Effect. It's a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash, and my mouth already hurts from smiling. Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen. What happened last session?
Science, unfortunately.
Bad science. Bad magic science.
Weird science. And Io wins the award for making me laugh, but unfortunately, Cavill already has inspiration.
Once again, we spent the entire session talking about a green circle.
It was brought up. But you spent more time investigating the thing that was hovering above the green circle, which was there only for aesthetic purposes. Technically, it's still there.
They should not have kept feeding it. It's like a tribble. It has spawned.
Yes, but unlike a tribble, it has spawned into a bigger thing as opposed to spawning into more things that will continue eating. Although this might eat, it doesn't have a mouth.
Neither does the thing that was being fed random stuff.
I mean, the fragment, which looked somewhat crystalline in nature, was every time something was tossed into it, spitting out usually something that was a purer version of the thing that was thrown in. So if you threw in a dagger, it would spit out a higher grade version of iron. Every now and then it did the other way around. Also, if you threw something in, it came out worse. But
this has come out worse. This is worse.
Well, this is worse. But to be fair, it's also the first time anyone shot at it with a ballista.
So this is the purer version of a ballista?
Oh, no, the pure version of a ballista bolt was a bunch of charcoal and a little bit of iron.
Yeah, I think I was making a joke. That was a joke.
I understood the joke. It's a
pure version of Angie.
I understood the joke and I was a straight man for it. Yeah, well, this is a pure version of Angie, sure. Don't talk him.
I'm going to type it into chat.
Oh, no. Not the chat.
Dun, dun, dun. Ellie is typing.
And sirens are approaching.
The whole point of my typing it into chat was so that I wouldn't interrupt the conversation.
Oh, I genuinely enjoy hanging out with my friends where all this is still having a good time. All right, so yeah, a big bad thing jumped out. It appears to be covered in bluish black armor. There are wisps of blue smoke coming out of the faceplate for the blue armor, but there's no face in there. It has a sword that appears to be made of blue smoke, with more blue smoke coming off of it. And it has a sort of aura around it that I learned how to do today in Foundry. So I'm retroactively saying that's what it had on it last time also. And then we spent too much time adding light effects to our own characters, and I have no regrets whatsoever. Okay. All right. So before we started recording, I asked everyone to roll for initiative, and we're going to get started. Cavill, you are tied for first place with an initiative 20. Now, you have already done one thing. You hit it with an Eldritch Blast last session, right at the end, but that was before initiative. So what do you want to do now?
I would like to reveal that I put this light effect on my character for a reason.
Wait. You can't have a light effect that's useful. That defeats the purpose.
It's awesome. I see the circle.
Fiendish spirits fill a 15-foot radius.
This is fine. What do they do? Oh, spirit guardians.
Let me just make sure that it moves with me. It does not move with me, and I have no idea how to remove the template, so that's just where the circle is going to be right
That's
now.
its home now. That's where it lives. I think... Is it a drawing tool? It's not a drawing tool. Is it a tile? It's not a wall control.
You can draw lips.
Measuring tool.
It's drawing tool.
I can move it around. It's a measuring tool.
So it can just live there now.
It can live there until Cavil moves because we know how to move it. So we're good.
I wish that I could attach it to Cavil, but...
Let's not attach anything to Cavil's butt. The tail is there already. That's enough.
Yes, Cavil would agree with that.
All right, so we're looking at a wisdom saving throw. DC 15.
I hope your allies don't.
The allies are not affected. I am designating everyone here as not affected except the Monolith Guardian. Was that the wrong...
Technically a Monolith Champion,
Champion. Yeah.
And by the way, I am aware that it's built from a fragment of the Singing Monolith, and this thing is called Monolith Champion. That is actually a coincidence. And this amuses me greatly. They're from different source books.
The Angie Guardian.
The Angie Guardian? Dag nabbit. Everyone who's made me laugh so far tonight has inspiration already. You get nothing.
Oh, I do? Yep, so I do.
You get nothing. You might need it. All right, so I'm checking to see if this has any special abilities that make these rolls not as bad. Oh wait, it's immune to radiant damage from tieflings. That's oddly specific.
It's not radiant damage.
It actually says
it's not radiant damage.
Am I misreading this? I thought it said radiant damage in the description.
It can.
But despite alignment, I am a Fiend Pact Warlock. I am not getting the angelic or Fey spirits.
Technically, Asmodeus is a deity. The only deity in hell. Wait, no. Tiamat is also technically canonically in hell. Okay, there's two. Two deities. If I had a nickel for every deity in hell, I'd have 2 nickels.
Are they... So, I mean, the next question is, do they have tea together? You know.
I'm sure Asmodeus would do it just to be a nice guy, and Tiamat would hate every moment of it.
Which would make especially if there were not enough teacups for all the heads.
Okay, so it made its saving throw. So it's going to take half damage.
Which means it will take half damage.
Mm-hmm. So 8 damage. Round down. I'm not going to just type 8. I've learned that mistake.
And hopefully it is not immune to necrotic damage.
It is not. And I appreciate that I made a dumb joke, and at the same time, you had a very straight answer that negated the joke. All right. No, it's wonderful. I love everything about this, unironically. This is great. All right, so it has taken damage twice now from you because you Eldritch Blasted it before.
I hope this has a really tall ceiling in this room because I think, Cavil, you probably ought to be going up real soon.
It does have a very tall ceiling, which is the only... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because otherwise it would have gotten an opportunity attack from Tex when it jumped over Tex's head.
It jumped way up and down.
Yeah. But what were you saying?
Did it ricochet off of the ceiling like sorry.
But if I wanted to go away from it, I would have to disengage.
I can teach you how to do that.
I don't think you can teach me how to do that in the next 6 seconds.
Oh, sure I can. Talking's a free action. It's just a jump to the left and then a slide to the right.
Put your hands on your hips, tuck your knees in tight.
Well, that's for advanced rouging.
Uh-huh.
But Cavil's skin tone is already rouge, not unlike my own scale color, so this works out pretty well. You might already be ready for the advanced stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let's do the time warp again.
You don't want a third class.
That would be absurd. Or approaching absurdity. You can only learn the third class by going into a forest and finding a puffin. Thank you, I'm here all week. So, Cavil, is that your turn?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right. So, you are tied for initiative with A. A
Who's been dragged out of the room.
kicks open one of these doors, the one that Hobby is not in the way of, and A
Thank
is going
goodness.
to throw 2 psychic daggers. Oh, A still has copies of the Great Axe of Intimidation and Whip of Archaeologist in his inventory. I should get rid of those. A does not technically have those anymore.
Indeed.
I found a dupe bug.
Oh, no.
All right, so we've got 2 different attacks. We have the Psychic Blades attack, which is a 17. That hits. Actually, I should have rolled that again. Yeah, we'll take the 17. Because we can argue that the Monolith champion is engaged with Cavil, and therefore, my little kobold has pack tactics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I always forget about it when we're playing the campaign called Pack Tactics. Because half the players aren't playing kobolds anymore. Culturally, they are, but never mind about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is 6 damage from the first strike. And the second... Oh, and sneak attack. I'm going to say canonically...
So it is large enough. So it is large enough that Cavil or somebody is within 5 feet of it.
Yeah. Its bounding box is right up against the bounding box for Cavil right now. All right, that's 11 points of damage from sneak attack. I'm going to say canonically, A does yell, sneak attack, when throwing the psychic dagger. And the second roll is dirty 20. That shouldn't have done the same amount of damage, but it did. All right, so psychic blades are thrown, and A says, ninja vanish, and shuts the door.
Ninja.
Oh.
That is clever.
If A had not done that, Chadwick would have pulled them away from the door. Oh, I should have begun the combat.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me click through this. Okay, it is Clonk's turn. Clonk grabs Bindle and pulls her back this way.
Honestly, that's reasonable.
It is now Tex's turn.
Hide behind the
Sorry, I missed that. Who?
It's Tex's turn.
Tex.
Got it.
Murderbot 1. Well, actually, you're sort of Murderbot. You know,
Yes.
Tex is Tank Bot.
I'm going to move into the creepy spirits and hope that Cavil has remembered to exclude me.
Yes.
And then I've got the target in my sights, and I'm going to shoot bullets at it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it
Tex
pays
is
off.
proficient in gun.
You know what? I'm going to use my inspiration.
Let's put it this way. Tex is proficient in Silvered Warhammer, which is not unlike getting hit by a cannonball. And a 23 hits.
Does a 19?
A 19 will also hit.
To know.
All right. I shall math it. My eternal nemesis. Okay.
What size class is the thing?
Large right now.
Okay, I'm going to move it 1 square to the south.
It's just a jump to the right. Which I know is not the lyrics, but in this case, the way it's facing it, move to the right.
Well, down.
And
Sort of its right. Yeah.
Since I only moved 5 feet, I'm going to use the rest of my movement to move over here.
All right.
And I think that's my turn.
Okay. Next up is the Monolith Champion.
Angie.
Now, there... yes, the Angie Champion. I am applying some homebrew to this. I'm not using the official stat block. So if you see the things that pop up for Greatsword, I'm not using all of it. Okay? But I am using some of it.
Good. Concerning. We are not within a Fey court or castle, I hope.
Yeah, that's the part where I'm ignoring that part. Because the original stat block for Monolith Champion, the flavor is they are constructs that exist in the Seelie and Unseelie court. And they don't tend to be found outside of there. But
this one is lost. It needs to be taken home.
This has a different background.
There's no quest to do like champion control. Oh,
Cavil,
that's not bad. That's
Cavil,
that's
a crit against you. Cavil, I'm going to need you.
Right.
I'm going to need you to take some damage.
Mm-hmm.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
What the?
That's a lot of dice. That's 62 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm not making that concentration save. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hellish Rebuke is on my spell list?
I think you automatically get it for being a tiefling.
Yeah, but do I, know it? Okay, so I do know it.
Yeah, tiefling.
Okay.
If you shriek hard enough, Chadrick will probably use his version too. Like he usually kill steals from other rooms.
Unless this Hellish Rebuke does a lot more damage than I'm expecting it to, it's not going to be a kill steal. Because, fun fact, the Psychic Blades didn't do any damage.
Oh, yeah, but is Chadrick's a psychic damage? Anyway, are you doing a Hellish Rebuke? Yes, you are. Okay.
So I need to do a saving throw.
It must make a dexterity.
Well, it doesn't make the dexterity saving throw. And it takes a 4 fire damage. All right. For its second attack.
Oh, wait. Wait a minute. I could have done a different thing. Dang it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
I could have made the crit go away.
What ability makes the crit go away?
At the wrong part of my sheet. Huh?
What ability makes the crit go away?
Silvery Barbs.
Oh, that spell that some DMs ban. But I couldn't be bothered.
Anyway. Well.
Alright. For its next attack.
I wish I had used this.
It's a maneuver. It actually moves a little bit closer to Hobby, and it's going to use a slam attack against Hobby.
Damage to it yet. What a jerk.
That's a 10.
My AC is 16?
Then it does nothing. But now it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Hobby would like to, for, what's the right word? Cinematic purposes, drop down to all threes while drawing her +1 dagger. I have one of those. Yes, I do. Basically, scuttle very low to underneath its guard, hopefully, come up and stab it in whatever looks nice and stabbable from coming upwards at things. Because
you reach for a chink through the armor.
People do not. Yeah, basically.
If the armor didn't have gaps, it wouldn't be able to move.
Exactly. Also, I believe that another enemy of the target is within 5 feet, so I do not actually need to have advantage or be behind anything to do technically the sneak attack.
You don't even need to yell sneak attack. Correct. A will say that you need to yell it, but you do not need to yell it.
I just need to roll my dagger, I assume.
That would be useful. And I just noticed that there's a 15-foot diameter circle in another room now. I'm just going to get rid of that.
I couldn't get rid of it. I tried to delete it and it wouldn't go away.
It's okay. I took care of it.
Roll a frickin' 11.
11's not going to hit, but you do have inspiration.
I think I'm going to use my frickin' inspiration.
Finally, people are spending inspiration. The 25 will hit.
Did you laugh yet?
You made me chuckle earlier, and I checked your character sheet.
Okay, I got the dagger. I want to do a... Do it as the sneak attack thing. Do the thing. All right, so I roll the damage of the attack, right? The first
damage of the attack
dagger.
And the sneak attack damage together.
Will it do them both together if I hit
it's
damage
got to be 2 separate rolls.
Okay. Okay, 2 separate rolls. Okay, here's my dagger damage. Okay, 8. That's nice. Here's my sneak attack damage. 11. And just a moment. And let's see. And
Divine Smite?
Yeah. I finally took my level back.
Oh, I forgot about that. You took a level in Paladin.
No, actually, I took 2 levels in Paladin. Where do I... because it's the second level that this happens. So, how do I make the...
Crud, I just realized.
You
just made me laugh again.
Do I get my inspiration back?
Yes, I already put it on your character sheet. Roll your Divine Smite.
I'm going to have to apparently roll that like normally because let's see, I click on it and it does not actually give me
just roll 2d8
button. Okay, let's see. Are those d8s? Okay. Roll 1d8. Roll. No. Roll 2d8. Let's see. What of my spells actually do I have an option for? I do not have an option to do more than...
As a second level paladin, you're not going to be able to do more than 1 spell level.
Yeah, but I have spell levels for being the
Arcane Trickster. Right. Yeah. Well, that's additional 5 damage. It's bloody.
Don't hit my sibling. Let's see, do I get a bonus action now?
I don't believe Smite counts as a bonus action unless you're using one of the extra flavored smites. So yes, I do believe you still have a bonus action.
A bonus action to go. Okay. Can I use a bonus action to disengage?
You may, but which way will you go?
So basically, that's... Whoops, I'm using the wrong tool. There we are. I'm going, let's see, to go... Can I go that way? So that I am going to force it to divide its attention between me and everyone else?
If you're going to move to there, it doesn't even need to be a bonus action to do that because you're still within 5 feet of it. You're just going around it.
I just want to make sure it doesn't actually, what's the word? Actually, no. Hobby does want to go 1 step out the door and wave. Because she doesn't want it in the room with all of the captive blue smoke.
A and Chadwick are right there, and A is going, No, you gotta close the door and say ninja vanish.
I'm not vanishing. I'm kiting.
That means it's gonna come this way.
I know it's gonna come this way, but there are civilians in there.
There's civilians out here.
You've got stairs. Run up the stairs.
I can't. It's not my turn.
Chadrick can run up the stairs.
While you're having this conversation, Mech, it's your turn.
Okay, so I will engage my rage protocol and get closer to this thing.
I love that you have a different flavor of I would like to rage for this character.
I would like to rage, yeah. It's different.
Yeah. Engaging rage protocol. Booting up rage.
Engaging rage protocol.
Remembering childhood trauma.
Yeah, and
I mean, not your childhood trauma. You're a construct, but you're remembering someone's childhood trauma.
Right, yes. Someone's childhood trauma. Okay. So I think after that, I want to do a frenzy attack. It says, while in a frenzy, you can make a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this one. So maybe the frenzy is for later.
Yeah, because raging is a bonus action.
Yeah, I got to do something else first. Oh, okay. So we've got the raging going.
Smack it with an axe is probably a good idea.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, smack it with an axe. That's what I'm gonna do. Trying to see what I have in inventory here. Yeah, there's a hand axe.
Use the great axe.
There's a hand axe.
No, you should not, because you just got a gift. Previously, the great axe of intimidation +1.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use that, and I'm going to hit this thing, if possible.
All right. So in your inventory, the icon that's next to the great axe of intimidation. When you move your cursor over it, it turns into a little D20 icon. Click on that. and then come back to
Okay.
the chat window in Foundry and click the attack button
Okay.
in the chat in Foundry.
Below the chat or above?
It doesn't actually
it's in
show the
chat.
attack button on the Great Axe.
It does. I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
that's the problem. It doesn't actually.
I'm looking at it in the chat. I just rolled an attack.
Oh, there it is.
Now that
okay.
that was me rolling it, so we're not going to count that. But
Yeah. So I just roll a d20. Yeah.
no.
Hang on.
In
Crash?
Mhm.
Crash. Are you the one who put the Great Axe of Intimidation in the chat?
No.
Wait, did I? I must have clicked it and it got in. Okay. So I should hit
It's there
attack
twice.
on that one. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now I understand. Normal, advantage, disadvantage.
Normal. That's going to hit though.
Slowly rolled over. Yeah, it's gonna hit.
17.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hold on a second, 'cause I
17's
gotta
good.
check something.
Yeah, I'm
as
gonna
I
hit it
lean
with
away
the
from my
great axe of
microphone.
intimidation.
Okay, roll your damage.
Okay, damage. Sorry, I'm fuzzy today. There we go.
Well,
Normal.
no.
Oh.
I was
No?
making sure your rage
No?
was activated because you said you were raging, but I
Okay.
turned it on for your character, so now it should actually work properly. Scroll up to where you had
Okay.
damage from the great axe and click on that.
Yeah, if you scroll up
Okay.
in the chat, you should see it.
Okay, I see it. So that's the attack? Yes?
Well, you already rolled the attack and you
You've
hit.
attacked,
Sorry.
click the damage button.
You both talked at the same time and I
Sorry.
reversed that.
Don't click
So
attack because you already did
You
that
have
well.
success-
Okay. So I hit attack.
No,
You
you
hit- no,
you have
damage.
already done the attack.
I hit
Hit
damage.
Yes.
Okay, so I hit damage. Okay, got it. It's not going
All right.
very well.
A 10.
Oh wait, it comes to a 10. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah, bonuses.
It actually comes to a 12 because you're raging.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit this thing. It's really hard to see its head, but I'm gonna I don't know, try to slash it really hard on its back with the battle axe.
All right.
You can't cut its head off.
You could cut its head in half.
You could cut its helmet
if
off.
you go.
The axe
I could
goes
cut
through
its
the
helmet
smoke,
off,
but you could
but-
cut the helmet. You could cut the helmet off. Matter of fact, you know what?
Okay,
I'm going to
let's
say
do
you
that.
did. You did cut the helmet off. Now there is now a
Alright.
wispy blue orb of smoke where the helmet was. That was dissipated just a little bit from the axe strike and then reformed into a wispy blue orb. Bindle is saying, "Let me go. We have to contain it. Get the vacuum and turn it on." But it's not Bindle's turn, so she can't do anything. All right.
Aww.
Actually, it's Project Lead's turn. Project Lead
Okay.
is going to run over here to this bookshelf on the map, which I said previously was a row of levers and stuff. And he takes a slider and moves it all the way from one side to the other. And you all hear a sound, and there's a sound of an engine revving up and a lot of air moving, and it's like the atmospheric pressure in this room went down a little bit. It's not enough to affect any of you, but blue wisps are sort of all going in the same direction now.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to ask all passengers to return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts.
I don't have a seatbelt. I was carry-on luggage. Someone help me into the overhead compartment. It is Cavill's turn.
I missed what's going on. Did Mech
Mech
kill
cut
it?
Mech cut the
No.
helmet off,
No.
but it's still functioning.
Ah,
Cavill,
yes,
it is your turn.
yes,
What would you like to do?
I'm looking.
Okay.
Decision making.
There's so many good things on the menu.
It's true.
You could have blue smoke a la mode, blue smoke flambe.
I'm so mad that the gifts do not have the animated Witch King Nazgul thing where it was wandering around being basically just a little flaming head with a crown over it and no actual, head. Because that looked awesome. Can we have a question in chat? for the GM.
Question in chat. There's a lot of text in chat. How far up do I have to scroll to see the...
But where I have in all caps, no captive blue smoke.
The little stasis cube things are on the bookshelf behind mech on the map. They're not kept right next to all the controls.
Oh, but they're not on the bookshelves to the south?
There's... Against the south wall, there's some there too. They've been throwing a lot of things into the shard.
So the bookshelves on that section.
Okay, but
I won't say they're filled to capacity, but there's a lot of little cubes there.
when you say the little cubes, do you mean the cubes containing the things that came out of
the cubes containing the blue smoke that are kept in stasis? Yes.
Okay.
Whenever they threw things in, it created both a little bit more blue smoke and the purified materials.
Yes.
And siphoned the blue smoke off and put it in stasis cubes, and that's what Hobby does not want this thing accessing.
Yes.
Okay, that was my misunderstanding. I thought they had been putting the things in the stasis cubes.
No.
There are a few things they put in stasis cubes also when they really weren't sure about them. Particularly anything that came out that wasn't a pure version, that was actually like it's got more contaminants in it. Well, that's not right. Let's just hold on to this and let's put this awfulness over here with the other awfulness, with the rest of it.
Gotcha.
I cast Hex and give it disadvantage on strength checks so that it will have a harder time not getting dragged around by like techs, and then I disengage.
Now I have to find Hex on this list of things that are done to it.
And I am going to go flying up the stairs.
Good.
In fact, it could be argued that I am hovering above the stairs.
Cavil, did you notice there's a lot of you that's falling out of you?
It's fine. I'm fine.
No, I don't think that's fine.
I'm fine.
No, you're flying.
You'll be fine
that's
when
different.
I get to you. You'll be fine when I get to you.
Ouch! Sock it.
I'm awake and
That's my
I'm
leg.
casting. That's fine.
We have very different definitions of the word fine.
Yes, I'm sure we do. I've had worse.
You were
shouldn't.
higher level then.
Don't remind me.
Sorry. I
All
was
right.
higher level then too.
So, A has the same initiative as Cavil. After this conversation, which takes longer than 6 seconds, but time seems to slow down for conversations and magical girl transformations, no one questions this. It's fine. And not Cavil bleeding out fine. A pulls out a regular dagger because the psychic daggers didn't do anything. And runs in and says, "Sneak attack!"
Yay. Nice.
Dirty 20 does no damage.
The dagger alone does no damage.
The dagger
It
does
needs
no
plus
damage.
one dagger.
The dagger is not magical.
Right.
And A says, that was supposed to work. Disengage! Slams the door. Ninja vanish! And A runs up to where Cavil is and says, "I think I've got some bandages. Give me a second." But that's A's turn. Clonk holds his action. Tex, your turn.
Hobby, is the door open?
The door is open so that she can make rude gestures at it.
Yeah, there's two, it's double doors. One side is being propped open by Hobby so that it can see the rude gestures, as stated. The other one has been opened and closed throughout this fight because apparently vanishing like a ninja means closing the door in front of you.
I mean, that's fair. It's like a smoke bomb. It's just made out of wood.
It's more opaque than a smoke bomb and less susceptible to gusts of wind.
Exactly. It's
Most gusts of
even
wind.
better. Right. Hobby is making rude gestures with her free hand and with her tail. You've seen
not
angry
quite-
cats. They put their backs to you and they jerk their tails around rudely. It's like this, I hate you, I hate you.
A is going to start making rude gestures with their tail and say that they learned it from watching you.
That is totally fair, and Javi will give a pointers on how to make it look really, really rude.
There might be other members of the party who disagree with this strategy, but let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about what Tex is going to do to make this thing have a worse day.
Javi's good at ducking.
Move and then hold the rest of my action, including the rest of my movement?
I will let you hold your action after movement, but not use movement afterwards.
I don't get to move. Okay.
If you want to throw the thing through the open door where Hobby is standing in the doorway, Hobby's a cat. She can duck.
No. Cats aren't ducks.
She has a very good agility. She can duck.
This thing is facing away from me, right?
Yes.
Hobby was taunting it. Hobby, don't tank.
Yeah. Okay. Tex is going to meet Hobby's gaze, point at Hobby, and then gesture to the north side of the room, where like the desks and all the critters are. You know, the tiny people.
Gnomes.
And then Tex is going to move here, and if I need to, I'll spend the extra 5 feet of movement to not be in the thing's space.
You could have very easily walked around it, so that's fine.
Okay. For my first trick,
a dirty 20 hits.
And while I'm rolling damage, it can roll that wisdom saving throw.
And here. Some abilities have it built in where I just click a button and it says, okay, here's the roll. Maneuvers, that button doesn't work the same way. So, I've got to roll it normally.
Can't you click the little...
That didn't do anything. That's a 17. But also 16 bludgeoning damage.
It's true. Well, I've got to make a decision.
Bring it towards us. Everything in that room is something we don't want it hitting, so drag it in.
Hobby, can you take a hit if it means get out of the room?
Or maybe I can dodge a hit.
Are you willing to?
Yes.
Perfect. X trades places with Hobby.
Oh, that's clever. So that means I'm there.
Oh.
There's 2 of me.
But wait, there's more.
Why is there 2 of me?
Because of lag. There's only one of you on my screen.
Oh, thank goodness.
The world isn't ready for 2 hobbies.
That's a lovely. No, it is not. And you're closing the door on me?
Hobby, add 8 to your AC.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
Rogue
Hobby,
tank.
go.
It's my turn
You
now?
just gave Hobby an action.
No, you get to use my attack.
Oh.
Okay, I probably cannot do the sneak attack because it says once per turn and not
Turn,
on my
not
turn,
round.
I'm on Tex's turn.
Turn, not round.
Oh, so this is my turn?
Hang on,
This
what
is
does
a
sneak
not
turn.
attack actually say?
What does sneak
Yes.
attack actually say?
Once per turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's my turn.
Right.
This is one of
So
those
you can
things
use
where
it
the
once
DM
this turn.
interprets it.
Yeah.
How's
You
the
can
DM?
use it this... Yeah, by the rules as written, you can use it this turn, and then you can use it on your turn, because they're different turns.
Okay.
There are plenty of times where I would not rule that way. However, we've been playing for about an hour and I want to take a break. So, let's get to the end of this round of combat. Go ahead. If you can hit it,
Also,
you may roll sneak
if there
attack
were-
damage.
If there were ever an excuse for using a sneak attack roll, it's suddenly there's a rogue there.
Dag nabbit. Yep,
Well,
you got your
21
inspiration
hit.
back.
Will a 21 hit?
Yes.
Oh, and roll an extra 1d8
Oh, right.
Okay.
because of
This-
Commander's Strike.
All right.
Listen to me very
Well, first I'm gonna
carefully.
do my
You need to
dagger.
roll all of the dice that Foundry has. You might think you understand what I
Roll
said.
that. Okay, there's the 1d8. Let me roll my sneak attack. And I believe I still have something that I can roll a smite. I believe I still have some smite.
Oh yeah,
abilities.
whenever you make a weapon attack.
Right. So let's see if I can make.
So long as you've got the spell slots left.
I think I still have at least one spell slot left, and so that's 2d8,
Yeah.
which I have to actually roll differently because it will not. It doesn't know how to roll for
So
me.
far, 16,
Well,
17,
that's
18,
just
19.
terrible.
Okay, but it had less than 19 hit points. How do you want to do this?
Its helmets come
in.
off.
Blink.
Yep.
There's
Its helmets come off. I think she's probably going to try to just rip straight up through it with holy light flaring off of her dagger, and then put, just sort of from the legs up to where the helmet no longer is. Put one clawed hand, her free clawed hand, on one side of the gash. Put one foot on the other because she's a cat. Thank you, and sort of shove them apart.
All right. That's
so
exactly
that its
what you
armor
do.
Goes in two directions, and hopefully the vacuum will take care of any blue smoke. Snarling, that's for my sib.
All right. That is exactly what you do. And as you do this, as you tear the armor apart and the blue smoke contained within gets sucked up into the air purification system or air entrapment system. It doesn't purify, it just it takes the air and puts it in a small cube. It's fine.
Good.
It's the air cubification system. They're workshopping the name. It's different every week. Everyone's taking a turn naming it. The armor starts to degrade and crumble, and itself turns into an aerosolized version that is also sucked into the vents as well. And then
Hobby holds her breath.
there's a moment of utter silence, except for the dripping of Cavill's blood onto the stairs, because Cavill is currently hovering a bit too high for A to reach with bandages. Yes, there are minuscule little jumpings happening. And then the silence is broken by Project Lead yelling, "Data! We just got so much data! Everyone, write it down! Write what you saw! Write what you saw!" And we've been playing for about an hour, so what do you say we take a break?
Reasonable.
Cavill, you are well.
We have a staff of healing.
Hobby is absolutely going to start running to Cavill and use her brand new lay on hands.
Understood.
That also worked.
All right.
And now we're on break.
Hobby has dumped her entire lay on hands, all 10 points of it, onto Cavill.
And Cavill also has a staff of healing. So, and if Cavill gets within range, A is going to apply non-trademark infringing Band-Aid replacements on
Duct
Cavill
tape.
as well.
Duct tape
No,
and gauze.
no, tiefling tape. Tiefling tape. It's being used to
Not
tape
rouge
together a
tape?
tiefling. Therefore, tiefling tape.
Mm-hmm.
The tiefling appreciates it more than the duck did.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Anyway, this one has tiny
Hobby
little
thinks
baby
Cavill should sit
kobolds
down.
printed all over it.
Aww.
And I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Hobby thinks that Cavill should sit down, not in a bloody spot, but definitely should be sitting down and not just hovering.
Yes, Cavill will come down and Cavill will cast Prestidigitation to make the blood that is on the floor go away.
That's a neat trick.
It's very useful. Hobby is grooming Cavill's horns.
Cavill, could you, And A holds up their bag of holding, which, as you recall, is bloodstained.
Cavill attempts to Prestidigitate.
It's cleaner. Yes, we are actually
still
back
bloody.
on, Ellie. It's possible that it's always been bloody.
It was made
I missed
bloody.
you saying that you pushed the button.
Oh no.
I thought I said, but I'd have to go back to the recording. But I'm tired.
I
got
am willing to
distracted.
blame.
I'm willing to take the blame for
squarely
that.
on myself.
I would not, because I'm not sure I 100% said it. I've said it so many
You didn't.
times.
You did not.
I did. Okay, well then,
You did
there we
not
go.
say that you pushed the button, but you did say that we were back. There's stuff about tape and analog.
Yes. I
It distracted
thought
you
I
guys.
had it
Stop.
inside that greed, but whatever. So yes, we are back, and I'm pretty sure we got the whole. I'm using all my lay on hands. Hobby lays all of their hands, all 2 of them, on Cavil.
Pet, 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 pet.
And heals 1 hit point
She
per
has
finger.
toe
points
beans.
apiece.
Yes. Toe beans. What were you saying, Ellie?
Pretty much what Crash said.
1 per finger.
Not counting Mage Hand, because Mage Hand doesn't count for lay on hands.
Everyone here is well.
Well, I'm not well, and I won't be well until each of you fills this out. And Project Lead is handing each of you a clipboard and a pen.
You were in the next room. I was not talking to you.
Cavil's not bleeding anymore, but well is a little bit dubious.
Well enough.
Tex?
I trust their judgment.
You should not trust Cavil's judgment about being fine.
If I don't trust Cavil's judge about being fine, Cavil will beat me up or make fun of me at the next open mic. So
Says the 7-foot-tall murder bot.
Right,
yes.
right.
Well, yes, Cavil would be able to do that because Cavil has the high ground.
And also the microphone.
Right, yeah.
I don't actually have vicious mockery, you know.
You'd
Tex
have
is
to
not
do it.
saying any of this out loud.
I'm glad that's established. And also, Tex, I'm not going to require an insight check to know that when you make that comment to Project Lead about how I wasn't talking about you, you were in the room. Project Lead has a series of emotions displayed on his face that show that he's weighing the dichotomy of needs. On one hand, he really wants to say, but don't you know who I am? But on the other hand, you're a 7-foot-tall murder bot and he's a gnome.
Where is Project Lead?
Project Lead...
Can we do this like in Foundry?
Sure. Project Lead is right here. Project Lead squeezed past and was handing everyone a clipboard to write down what happened from their point of view.
Do I need to roll to grapple Project Lead? Is Project Lead larger than one of my hands?
Project Lead is gnome sized. By all means, give me a grapple attempt. Well, as I suspected, Project Lead was not able to beat a 27 grapple attack. How do you pick Project Lead up?
I wrap a hand around Project Lead's waist and lift. Project Lead is very small. I am very large, and I am also enormously strong.
Mr. Lead's feet continue to move as if he's on the ground for a full half second before he realizes what has happened.
Let us retire into the project room so that we may have a conversation.
And can
Mech,
you all write stuff down now?
Mech, would you see that all of these people are protected until I come back out?
I could do that.
Thank you.
My character to actually move into the hallway, because I think that's what you're asking.
Oh, the door
might have been
closed.
closed.
Yeah.
I opened it.
Thank you.
Although, for the record, you probably
Well-
would have been able to go through the closed door.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a lower level,
Yeah,
bouncing
standard.
did occur. At this level, we're not as worried.
Well, the clipboard. It is not going to be flattering.
Okay. The
Mech,
clipboards
would
were
you
pretty much
please
dropped.
close the doors.
Sure.
The clipboards were pretty
Thank
much
you.
dropped when Project Lead got picked up. A hands them out to everyone, and I guess we write down what we saw. Project
They
Lead
fired a
attacked
giant
the
crossbow
blue
bolt?
smoke thing. Blue smoke thing didn't like that. I'm gonna
Made
name
the
the
Anki
blue.
guard.
Yeah, Angie's a better name. That's way fewer letters than blue smoke thing. I'm gonna cross out. I'm gonna start. A drops that clipboard and picks up a spare clipboard and starts over again. Cut
Okay,
to
that's fine.
inside the testing room.
Project lead. I will set project lead down at this point. I can hear our most devoted member passing out your clipboards. However, one of my team has been grievously injured, despite their protestations to the contrary, and many of my team members are focused on their wellness. I do understand that this was a traumatic event for the three of you in this room, and Flag does have therapists on call if you require assistance in that manner. However, let's give them some time to recuperate, and especially Cavill, before we require them to fill out paperwork.
Roll me an intimidation check at advantage.
14 is the best I got. You know what? I'm going to use my inspiration on that.
There you go.
You do not get inspiration for making me laugh by using inspiration. I draw the line at that.
15 is the best I've got on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to roll against that. I'm going to say fine. A 15 is enough. There is the start of a bluster, but then a quill bounces off the back of Mr. Lead's head, and it came from the direction of Clonk and Bindle. Both of them are pointing at the other
We're
one.
both looking away and whistling.
You know what? That's funnier. We're going with that one. Right. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. The mind is a...
I am certain that you want the very best for your project. And you see it as something to be taken under your care, to be nurtured and protected. And that when someone attempts to interfere with your project, you would be very, very angry with them. I have been entrusted with the protection and care of my party of adventurers, and I am sure you can understand my reaction if anyone were to interfere with their well-being.
Mr. Lee just starts to hang his head.
Thank you for your understanding.
I may have been overly energetic.
In your pursuit of understanding, it is commendable. And yet, perhaps the time was not right. We will speak no more of it. Is there any data you can gather from me that would help you with your project? I am, after all, it seems, powered by the same nanites.
That's a deception roll.
Is it? I thought I was telling the truth.
No, you're not powered by blue smoke. All the other jurors were. You and Mech and the third were not. You had blue food coloring aerosolized and running through some tubes.
The player has misunderstood this entire thing. I got
that's
that.
That's why you have memory crystals.
I got that. I misunderstood what was going on here.
Yeah, the blue smoke that made the singing monolith is the blue smoke that was put into JR, and that's what JR used to make the jurors in the abandoned timeline.
Okay, then I wouldn't have said that then. I was trying to be truthful.
Then we'll back up, and you didn't add that part at the end,
yes.
But you did say that you were willing to help, and there's a little bit of stuttering and mumbling and false starts, and then Bindle comes over and sort of elbows Mr. Lead and hands him a notebook, a clipboard that they look at briefly and then realize why they were handed the clipboard, and they hand it up to you.
Let me take a look at it.
There is another elbowing followed by a pen, so you can actually write on the paper on a clipboard. It's labeled incident report, and today's date is already filled in. The supervisor name is filled in as project lead, but that has been crossed out and replaced by Bindle Brightlight. It's an incident report.
Well,
there has been a grievous incident. It's funnier because Tex doesn't have a face. And there's your inspiration back.
Tex will begin filling out the clipboard.
Okay. We are going to jump ahead.
I do not have a primary care provider.
Well, you can skip that part. That's for Enclave employees. You just need to fill out the part where it's the large box where it's just asking what happened. Ignore the expletive in there between what just say what happened, not what the whatever. I'm not the one who made this form. I need to make some forms. Yeah, just write what happened, but according to your memory, and then we're going to piecemeal it all together.
And Mech had something to say.
So Mech's in the hallway filling out the form.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Okay, Gnomes lost control of strange blue smoke creature. I was able to knock its helm off. Barely had time to rage. That's all she's going to say.
It happened so fast I almost didn't get angry.
Right.
Fortunately for all of you, I did get angry.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to cut ahead a bit. Everyone is bandaged up and healed as much as they are willing to be. Actually, no, I'm going to say it's the following day. You've had a long rest at this point because...
Okay. Oh, good.
Bindle said, go home, come back tomorrow. I'm the safety officer here, and now that there's been an incident, I'm the one who's in charge because safety is involved.
Spell slots back.
Yes, all that. So when you return, you're not meeting in the research lab anymore. You're meeting in Bindle's office, which is okay. It was probably built to be a broom closet, but Bindle's a gnome, and therefore Bindle can fit. Most of you are gathered around outside the closet because more than one of you is a giant murder bot. For some reason, Hobby fits in the closet just fine.
That's because Hobby has claws, and she's probably like halfway up the wall, and...
Even if you're on the ground, you're a liquid.
Yeah.
You are cat.
Exactly.
You just sort of pour around the outer edges and wrap up around Bindle and her desk. And wow, it gets really warm in here when half the space is filled with fur.
Hobby will climb up onto the walls a bit because, you know.
The walls are actually bookcases. They go all the way up to the ceiling.
It's easy to climb. She's just going to dangle off a few bookcases then, that's all.
All right. So Bindle has read all of your reports, and some of them more than once. A's may have some spelling corrections penciled in on top of the ink, but never mind about that. No, it's supposed to say rouge. That wasn't a mistake. Anyway, so I see here that a lot of what you were trying to do was to... the verb is kite? I think you meant lure, but you're trying to...
No, you kite it. It's like they're the invisible kite, and you're the one who's running.
I think I know what you meant. I've just never seen the verbiage used that way. But away from the other bits of blue smoke and the stasis cubes, which was very quick thinking on your part.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I mean, they like healing cubes.
Yeah, that it could have made things a lot worse, but it wasn't going towards them.
No, it was going to try to kill us first.
Oh, possibly, but two of your heavy hitters were behind it, and it focused only on whoever was in front of it. It never even turned around once.
Yeah, okay. It was probably stupid. But if it had turned to where... if it had thrown somebody into those bookcases and the stasis cubes broke, I think we would have had a bigger problem.
Oh, yes. And given what we knew at the time, you made what I would say is the right call. You made more right calls in that short experience than Mr. Lead made the entire time that he was project lead. But never mind about that. Here's the thing. Your interpretation of events is a valid one. There's information that can back it up. But at the same time, we are assuming a motive of it wanted to get to the other cubes, but it didn't move in that direction. So either it lacked strategic thinking or they weren't a goal. It spent all of its movement
to heal itself well.
heading, I'm not sure it could have healed itself. It spent all of its movement heading towards the doors. Another working theory or hypothesis, actually, is
escaping?
It was trying to get out.
Possible.
Which is also something that we didn't want. So I'm very glad that you stopped it. And now the entire thing is in containment. In cubes where time is effectively stopped. Which kind of sort of ends the whole experience. Which means that maybe this ulcer will start to heal.
Potions for that.
Well, oh yes, but if you don't remove the cause, the symptoms return. You helped remove the cause.
I see.
Yes, we're all very mad at it. And I owe you a favor.
I have no idea what I should be rolling to have the character think of the thing that the player wants to say. If Tex's intelligence were higher, this wouldn't be a question.
Insight?
Intelligence.
I'm going to try insight.
Intelligence is just a stat. What does the player want to say?
The player wants to say, well, this is an establishment of science. Am I correct?
Some would argue that point. I have my moments where I disagree.
It appeared that you caused the creature to appear by firing a ballista into the fragment that you have held captive. Is that correct?
That is definitely one of the interpretations, yes.
I understand. In the spirit of scientific inquiry, it would be entirely possible to fire the ballista into the fragment again and see if another one comes out.
The look of horror on Bindle's face that you have suggested repeating the experiment, even understanding that science is about being able to duplicate your data and remove bias. Bindle is very much biased against this. The last time this was attempted, one of your friends was almost killed. No, it's too risky.
Yes.
It's probably too risky, but that's the first time you actually attacked it, right?
Well,
you weren't stabbing it with a knife when you were feeding daggers to it, were you? You were just sort of putting them in.
I wasn't, personally.
But, okay, you and the general person who was feeding the knives in. You fed a dagger
There were other attempts to do damage to it, one of them involving a laser cutter.
But a laser uses light, not physical things.
Correct. The laser was totally ineffective.
It took precisely 11.7 seconds between when it appeared and when we destroyed it. In that time, no questions were directed at it. We don't know if it's capable of responding, let alone what it would say.
Are you suggesting that we should try to make another one in a controlled fashion?
Yes.
But if it spawned only because they were trying, it thought it was actually under attack, under actual damage, that's a little, it's not going to be inclined to talk much anyway, is it?
We don't know.
Right.
It needed
if it
a
can't
lot of
talk, Mech and I are completely capable of destroying it. And in the meantime, we can move all of the items of concern out of that room, including, pardon my saying so, all of the soft things.
Well, the chocolate chip muffins are very good in the cafeteria, I have to admit. But anyway,
the squishy people. Tex means the squishy people.
Yes,
not squishy as in we poke you and you go hee hee. Squishy as in when a foot is placed on you, then
it's more of a giggle.
You don't. Then you meet whatever deity you prefer to worship. I understand around these parts that's Ogma. And Ogma would want more information. Would Ogma not?
Yes, but Ogma also is not incredibly eager to have followers reach him before their time.
Which is why you would not be in the room. You have a pair of extremely powerful weapons volunteering to contain whatever comes out of the fragment.
I will need some time to put some additional precautions in place because your being there was very fortuitous, and I'm very glad you were there, and I'm very glad you're volunteering again. But I do not, well, I'm glad, I want to say this truthfully without any risk of sounding insulting in any way. I'm very glad that you're volunteering. I want your volunteering to not be needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to need some time to get some precautions in place. And
do what you must. In the meantime, I recommend strongly that you not throw anything else into the fragment.
I'm gonna have to. That's the worst part about this whole thing.
I see.
We did the calculations. There was everything that got tossed in, something got tossed back out again, that, if you did the math, was less than what got tossed in. There was also the blue smoke output, which, if you measured that by volume and did the calculations for how dense the nanites were that were coming out and carry the 3, and well, the thing is, there was a bit missing. We assumed it was converting that missing mass into energy to fuel the whole conversion process. It was turning it into a suit of armor.
And
I see where you were going with this, yes.
It's going to need mass in order to manifest.
I am very sorry for dominating this conversation, but very well. I would like to request that one of us, at least, be present when you feed the monster.
I don't want to call it that.
The Angie.
Why not? It is a warning of things to come.
It makes monsters, so perhaps a more accurate term would be feeding the dungeon.
Bindle looks at you for a moment. But dungeons don't make them. Actually, no. The space around the singing monolith did create undead out of pretty much nothing. Well, here's the thing. It was you who brought up that we didn't try to have a conversation. Calling it a monster has certain connotations. It implies a bias that it exists only for the purpose of being in opposition.
Oh, by no means. The origin of the word monster is an ancient word that means omen or warning.
Angie omen.
Very Angie omen.
Uh-huh.
It might not have been angry. It might not have had any emotions. We are assuming things. And it looks
it only attacked after it was attacked.
This is true. And it only followed up against those who were in front of it between it and its escape. And it looks like you're going to get your chance to ask what it wants.
What are they doing?
In your swamp. I made Ellie laugh. I'm giving myself inspiration. Can't give it to A. A already has inspiration.
Bindle gets inspiration.
Bindle's an NPC. Oh, fun fact. The cat that I added to the map has a spot for a lair action. So does Bindle.
Bindle has a lair?
Bindle doesn't have any lair actions, but Bindle has a spot where I can check off that Bindle has done a lair action. I am now concerned. It's 1 second. I need to, while I'm thinking about this right now, go to the map for the Shrike ship. I'm not loading it. You're not going to see anything. I'm just going there myself. I need to check something real quick. That's not the faster, dang you. Where are you? There you are. Yes, smallest cap has a spot for uses lair action.
Smallest cap frequently checks the off, despite the fact that smallest cap has no lair actions, no lair, and wouldn't be in the lair anyway.
Long Cap's robes are the lair.
Long Cap's pocket.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Smallest Cap uses a lair action. Pocket lint increases by 25%. Okay, that just made my evening. NPCs all have the ability to use a lair action, even if they don't have a lair or a lair action.
Oh my.
Oh, okay. Well, that totally broke the very serious mood. It
Alas.
did. But this was great. This was great. This is... Even with the end conversation, this didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to go, and that makes it even better. You know what? We've been playing for... It's getting closer to 2 hours, and I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired, and this is sort of like a good stopping point. So, let's wrap it up here for the evening.
What? I completely missed what happened before lair action.
Oh, you said, what are they doing? And I said, in my swamp, and then you lost it a bit.
Right. Okay.
And then I started looking at character sheets to try to
so we're
going to
end on what are they doing?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And on
You're
what are they
right.
doing?
So what was how that sentence is supposed to conclude?
No, I am perfectly happy to end on what are they doing. That is a cliffhanger line if I ever heard one.
Agreed.
You know what? That's fine.
I just wanted to make sure that was what we were ending on.
We're ending on me trying to give smallest Cap a lair action.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And cats everywhere. Sokka has a lair action.
Do you want to do it one more time for the recording?
You know what? I'm not sure I'm going to edit this part out, but go ahead.
Oh, well, you've got to start then. Because what are they doing has to be a response.
I don't remember what I said before you said, what are they doing?
So it was Bindle saying you're going to get a chance to...
You are going to get a chance to ask whatever it was doing.
What are they doing? What are they doing?
I see your point. And then the screen goes black and we have to be continued.
What are
here.
they... Next time on Game Grumps.
Hello!
You
Yes, that cut off and it was fantastic.
hello, cut off.
All right. So thank you everyone
Good
for
night,
listening.
everybody.
Thank you everyone for playing. This, before it got unhinged, was a wonderful game of D&D, and we still kept playing for another 33 episodes after that. This is always a blast. So, my name is Crash. I was your DM for the evening. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen, who has a thing that they want to plug.
Ellie was here?
It's okay. I didn't tell Ellie you were here. You don't have to pay the $5 again.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, Io's mom writes books.
At elizabeth-mccoy.com, or, look up Elizabeth McCoy and on all of your legitimate ebook retailers or ask your library to look for me on Overdrive and pick up some of my books. They're real cheap for libraries.
Actually, by the time this airs, that may be just elizabethmccoy.com.
If you can manage to make it do that.
The Dash version will redirect. Ooh. And that's because, at this point, it's costing me $100 a month to maintain that Dash.
Ew. Yeah,
if I'm
fix that. Ellie, you need to be charging me this.
If I'm reading my schedule correctly, you have until February 5th if you're saying when this episode goes live.
And you need to charge
that's going to get done this month. Beth, I didn't realize it was happening. I didn't realize it was happening until like Halloween, and I'm in the middle of taking care of it.
Okay, well, tell me if you need money, and I will send you money. And tell me how much money I need to send.
Don't worry about it. I don't. It's fine.
And speaking of web domains,
speaking of it's fine.
Right. Speaking of books.
Right. My website is Book of Jen, and it's got book reviews at the top, a ton of Diablo-related stuff, and anything else I feel like writing about. You can find it at bookofjen.net. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which generally comes out every Saturday. Didn't do one yet. I'll be doing that later after this is done, but you'll hear about this in the future, so maybe it doesn't matter. But that's at shatteredsoulstone.com.
And speaking of serial content, I have a blog at blog.noel.town. And speaking of Patreons...
we have one of those also, but it's not necessary. If you go to aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel, you can find all of our serialized content. Not Ellie's content, although that too. Because we do have posts by Ellie on there. But you can find all of our podcasts, each with their own RSS feed, but also a RSS feed to rule them all. And if you like what you're hearing, and you know someone else who might like it, please share it with them. I'm thrilled when people listen to this stuff and enjoy it. And if you enjoy it enough that you actually want to help us break even, then there is a Patreon for that. Patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. You could help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Shan-Chen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time...
We miss you, Cindy.
We do. And until next time, this is Crash saying... No, for the last time, I am not having my name legally changed to Project Lead. No! Stop asking that! Good night, everybody. I am also not changing it to Nightlight. Who wrote that?